All right. So thank you for joining in this class, and we'll continue from where we left off in the previous class on the topic of Mahadashas. Okay. So before we begin, let's do the Shanti mantra as we do it daily. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunagato Sah Viryankara Vavahai Tejasvinadadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so we're continuing with Mahadashas, okay, and we'll be continuing with whatever concepts we're learning on how to judge the effects of the Mahadashas, okay. So going further to what we had studied last time, and if you remember the last class, we had studied a few rules as to how you will read the Mahadasha of a planet, okay. So continuing with that topic, or continuing with those rules, the next rule is that planets in the nakshatra of the Mahadasha Lord will activate themselves. Okay. So what it means is in Vedic astrology, nakshatras are the 27 lunar mansions. Okay. So each sign will have three nakshatras. And for all predictive purposes, you will use the 27 nakshatra scheme. The 28 nakshatra scheme is used for spiritual purposes. Okay. So, the nakshatras, they are also ruled by the planets. And when a certain Mahadasha is running, okay, for example, let's assume Jupiter Mahadasha is running. So, any planet that is sitting in the nakshatra of Jupiter in the birth chart will also activate themselves, and situations related to those planets. Okay. Just a minute. Yeah. So as I was saying, if Jupiter Mahadasha is running for an individual, so if any planet is there in the birth chart which is sitting in a nakshatra of Jupiter, then it will also activate itself. So what are the nakshatras of Jupiter? Jupiter rules Punarvasu, Jupiter rules Vishakha, and Jupiter rules Purva Bhadrapada. Okay, so if any planet is there in one of these nakshatras, they will activate themselves to bring certain results into play. Okay. So let's take an example. For example, if you're a Cancer ascendant and you're running through the Mahadasha of Ketu, who is sitting in the 8th house, then it can show that you might suddenly find yourself being involved in the occult, mysticism, or maybe secret underground activities. Okay. So continuing with the same example, say if a person has Sun, Mars, Saturn, and Mercury in the 10th house in the sign of Aries, okay, but in the nakshatra of Ashwini, which is ruled by Ketu, then suddenly the 10th house will become alive with all these planets. Okay, so what happens is usually in Ketu Mahadasha, people feel really, really isolated. Yes, they feel, as if something has separated them from the society. But in this case, since Sun, Mars, Saturn, and Mercury, they are located in the nakshatra of Ashwini, these people, they can suddenly find themselves in a leadership position, receiving sudden benefit from the government, or maybe becoming a government leader politically. Okay. So similarly, if you are going through the Mahadasha of Venus, which of course is of 20 years, and you have planets in the horoscope sitting in the nakshatra of Purva Phalguni, Bharani, or Purva Ashadha, then those planets will come alive and start giving results at that time. Okay. So that's why in any Mahadasha you can experience everything in your life. Okay, but how to time each event? You will time each event by by narrowing it down to the Antardasha, to the Pratyantardasha, and to the transits as well, the current transits of the planets as well. Okay, so how many of you are familiar with the concept of Varga Vimshopak? There is a concept called Varga Vimshopak. Okay, so this is very, very interesting. Not many people speak about it, but then Varga Vimshopak is a concept which takes the strength of each of the planets in the divisional chart and shows us how strong a planet is in terms of giving results. Okay, So when we, not all divisional charts are applicable in case of Varga Vimshopak, or while applying the concept of Varga Vimshopak. Okay, only a few divisional charts are applicable. Okay, so the Varga Vimshopak concept is applicable to the D9, which is Navamsha, D3, which is the Trikarna, D7, which is the Saptamsha, D4, which is the Chaturthamsha, and D10, which is the Dasamsha, and also D60, which is the Sastyamsha. Okay, so these are the, these are the Varga charts that will actually you will actually use to understand the concept, or use the concept of Varga Vimshopak to give a prediction to the client. Okay, so what is D9? D9 is your utilization of resources. It is known as the heart of the planet. Okay, it shows it shows the strength of their health, how healthy they actually are. Okay, if you have, in D3, it'll show the courage of the planets and your willingness to, to fight for anything that you want. Okay, D7 shows the manifestation ability of the planets. That means, it shows how strongly the planets can manifest your desires. D4 is what the planet is destined to give you. Okay, for example, if you have, Mars in a very good position in D4, then you're actually destined to get more property or more immovable property. Okay, again, D10, it reveals what success the planet will give you professionally. And finally, D60, it will reveal the ultimate strength of the planets. Okay, so while analyzing the divisional charts, we'll always look for the conjunctions and aspects of other planets, just like when analyzing the D1 chart. Okay, and then once all the charts have been analyzed, then, as a astrologer, you'll make the decision of calculating or telling the client what impact the planet will have in his or her chart. Okay, so, the point being, whenever you calculate using the divisional charts, don't rely entirely on the software. Okay, because sometimes the software can show you inaccurate results. Okay, so, to get correct divisional charts, you must always go for birth time rectification. All right, and if you don't know birth time rectification, then just wait for a few days. I'll start teaching that as well. Okay, it's just that I'm burdened with a lot of subjects that I'm taking up nowadays. Okay, so as I said, while using divisional charts, you must be really clear about the timing of the birth timing of the Jataka. Otherwise, it will give you wrong results. Okay. Next, the other important concept that no one again mentions is the concept of Dasha Pravesh. Okay, Dasha Pravesh of planets. Again, this is very important. Okay, and it is a concept that takes the day and time where you will enter your new Dasha, and then you calculate the exact planetary position upon your birth chart, like a snapshot of the sky. Okay, for example, say you are supposed to enter, the Surya Mahadasha on the 30th of October 2022, then just draw the birth chart for the 30th of October 2022 and see where the Mahadasha Lord is placed in that chart. Okay, so if you use this concept, or if you know how to use this concept, it will, it will show the foundation of the coming Dasha and how it will operate along with, along with which house it will really affect based on which sign the Dasha Lord is currently transiting in. Okay, for example, suppose you are about to start Surya Dasha, as I said, on 30th October 20, on 30th November, sorry, on 30th September 2022, and then you see the sun exalted on that day. Okay, if you draw the current chart, if you see the sun exalted, then, no matter wherever the sun is actually placed in your horoscope, the sun Dasha will be really good. Okay, so, while applying this concept, you must also look at the aspects, you must also look at the conjunctions, you must also look at the yogas that are formed in the chart. Okay, so, this concept, it sets the tone of prediction. Okay, it sets the tone of the Dasha regardless of how the planet is placed in your horoscope. So, there are certain cases when someone will come to you and say that, planet is exalted in my horoscope, but still it is giving bad results despite having, high Shadbala and high Ashtak Varga points. So what is the problem here? In that case, you will always see the Dasha Pravesh. Okay, maybe in the Dasha Pravesh chart, the planet is weak. Okay, then you also have to, know the sub periods. Okay, the sub periods are mini periods of planets that come along with the Mahadasha of a particular planet. Okay, So, for example, if you're going through a 6-year time period of Surya Dasha, then in that period, other planets will also come into play to do their part and bring, other house situations alive. Okay. So, the main thing is always the Mahadasha, but you also have to pay attention to the sub periods. Okay. So, there are, the main sub period is the Antardasha. Okay. But there are other sub periods as well. The next sub period is the Pratyantar Dasha. Then we have something called the Sukshma Dasha. Sukshma Dasha is how the Dasha affects you mentally. Okay. And then the Prana Dasha, that is how the Dasha affects you on a, on a physical level. Okay. Whether it will give you good health or it will take away your health. So all this is seen from the Prana Dasha period. Okay. Now, what are Antardashas? Antardashas are the sub periods that, as I said, they come within a Mahadasha. Okay, and I think someone needs to go silent here. Just a minute. So Antardashas are the major sub periods that come within a Mahadasha. Okay, for example, just taking the previous example, if you have a time period of, if you're running Surya Mahadasha, then you will have all the other planets come into play for 4 to 5 months at a time. Okay, so the time period of the sun will start from, the Mahadasha of the sun will start from Sun Mahadasha and Sun Antardasha. Then it will follow, then it will be followed by Moon Antardasha, then Mars Antardasha, Rahu Antardasha, Jupiter Antardasha, Saturn, Mercury, Ketu, and Venus. So the Antardashas will follow the same sequence as, I had mentioned for the Mahadashas in the last class. Okay. So, as I said, if you want to know or if you want to predict how accurate, how the life of the person will change, or how the Mahadasha or the Antardasha or the Patyantardasha will be effective, you need to be really, really accurate about the about the time of birth, because if there is a difference by few minutes, then not only the dashas can change, even your even your divisional charts will change. Okay. Now coming to the concept of the antardashas or the sub periods. Let's say you are a Leo ascendant with your sun in the 3rd house. Okay. Say the sun is at 21 degrees. Then what it means is the sun is in the sign of Libra and in the nakshatra of Vishakha. So let us assume that Jupiter is in the 9th house in the sign of Aries, but Mars is in the 7th house in the sign of Aquarius. Okay. So suppose this person is now running the Mahadasha of the Sun and Antardasha of the Mars. So what is happening? Sun by his ascendant chart, Sun is ruling the 1st house and Mars is ruling the 4th and 9th house. Okay. So in such periods, he or she will be doing a lot of short distance traveling as well as long distance travel, because here, as I said, the sun is in the nakshatra of Vishakha, which is, of course, the nakshatra of Jupiter. And where is Jupiter placed? It is placed in the 9th house of long distance travel. Okay. Similarly, other 9th house affairs might indicate that the person will be dealing with authoritative figures or father related issues, issues with siblings, or it can experience a creative time period as well. Okay. But then, now suppose, Mars Antardasha is also running, which is, of course, it will be around for 3 to 4 months. So since Mars is in the 7th house, since Mars is in the 7th house, this person will actually have to deal with the issues of relationships, with the issues of marriage or partnerships. Okay. But then Mars for, for for Leo ascendant, Mars rules the 4th and the 9th house. So Mars will give results of the 4th and 9th houses while wearing the costume of Aquarius, because as I said, Mars is in the 7th house in the sign of Aquarius. Okay. So this placement of Mars, it will show issues related to relationships. Okay. And why will these issues arise? These issues will arise because of involvements of mother and traveling. Why? Because Mars is ruling the 4th and the 9th house. So 4th means issues with the mother, 9th house means traveling. Okay. So maybe there will be power struggles that the native will feel in a relationship due to home, due to mother, due to gurus. Okay. Also, this period can show that the mother is traveling away from home in search of the person's wife. Okay. Or maybe due to property related issues. Okay. So it can also show that your spouse or partner will travel because Mars is ruling the 9th house. Now, extending this prediction further, extending this reading further, you also have to take into account the nakshatra of Mars, because as I said, the nakshatras of a particular planet will get activated during its time period. So suppose if Mars is sitting in the nakshatra of Shatabhishak, which is ruled by Rahu, you have to see where Rahu is placed. Okay. Now, suppose this Rahu is placed in the second house. So in that case, Mars will not only bring the issues of the fourth and the ninth house through the seventh house, but it will also give results of the second house, which is the house of family, assets, earnings, banking, speech, and so on. Okay. So what happens, in as I said, during Sun Mahadasha and Mars Antardasha, the person can experience gains through a lot of property related issues or for the spouse or mother. Okay, because Rahu is sitting in the house of money, wealth, and savings, right? Now just look at the dispositor of Sun and Mars. Okay, so Sun is in Libra, which means Venus becomes the dispositor, and Mars in Aquarius means Saturn becomes the dispositor. Okay, so looking at the dispositor, you can find out the positive, negative, and neutral results of the given time periods. Okay, so dispositors, they are like nakshatra lords, but with a with a greater authority over the planets. Okay, so dispositors, they are like the foundations of a planet. So the foundation of the house is weak, and then the house can fall or will be very unstable to live in, putting the person in constant fear. Okay, so looking at looking at the planets, looking at their dispositors, you can actually find out the tone on how the planet will behave. Okay, so for example, if Jupiter is in the sign of Leo and the nakshatra of Magha in the ascendant, while Sun, for example, is in the sign of Libra, and nakshatra lord Ketu is in the 8th house in Pisces, then the Mahadasha of Jupiter, in the Mahadasha of Jupiter rather, the person will not only want to do creative things like cinema, acting, directing, writing, or being part of the media, but they'll also find interest in the occult, spirituality, and mysticism. Okay, so why does this creative part come? It comes due to the dispositor of Jupiter, which is in the creative sign of Libra in the 3rd house. Okay, the occult part, as I mentioned, is due to the nakshatra lord Ketu in the spiritual sign of Pisces and in the 8th house of the occult. Okay, so what I'm saying is that these two things will be the major highlight of the next 16 years of Jupiter Mahadasha. Okay, but again, as I said, you have to really get the birth timing correct if you want to determine results or crack when an event will happen by using Mahadashas and Antardashas. Okay, so continuing with the same example, suppose this person now is running the Mahadasha of Jupiter and the Antardasha of the Sun. They will find themselves suddenly in a creative realm. Okay, so when the person runs into the Mahadasha of Jupiter and Antardasha of Ketu, maybe they will start falling in love with the darker side of life, especially occult science and Tantra. Okay, but then what you must not forget is that Jupiter will bring his own quality into play, and it will make the native act more like a teacher or guru or advisor. Okay, so Jupiter will also activate the situation related to the house he rules, which is of course the 5th and the 8th houses for Leo ascendant. Okay, so is this clear till now? This is a huge concept. Okay, this is a huge concept. So if you are finding it difficult, then go through the recordings again and again. It will be of great help, right? Okay, so what is Pratyanta Dasha? Pratyanta Dasha is the sub period. Okay, Antardasha is the sub period. Pratyanta Dasha is the sub period within a Mahadasha. All right. So Mahadasha again is about the overall period cycle. Antardasha narrows the time down to months, and Pratyanta Dasha, it shows the initiation of the event that is supposed to happen. Okay, so if the astrologer is good, if he knows his art, then a well qualified astrologer, such a well qualified astrologer can actually see that within a 2 to 4 month time period, you may get a surgery, maybe have an accident, maybe have a divorce, have a child, or get married, or even go for higher education. Okay, so all the basic necessities of life can be predicted using the Pratyanta Dasha, right? And that can include all the bad things as well. Okay, for example, rape or murder, or even getting killed. Okay, now let's take an example. Say you are a Leo ascendant with Mars in the 8th house along with Jupiter in Pisces, while Sun is in the 4th house of Scorpio. Okay, so now let's say the person is going through the Mahadasha of the Sun, Antardasha of Mars, and Pratyantardasha of Jupiter. So in that case, at such a time, the person may either get a surgery or get a sudden windfall of wealth through real estate and in-laws. Okay, but you know, if you look at the horoscope, if you look at this, you know, if you look at the horoscope that I'm giving you an example of, you may feel something related to major transformation will be happening with, you know, with either home or health or mother or inheritance. Okay. Now, what as the astrologers, you know, your job is to find out whether a particular event or whether a particular promised event will be good or neutral or bad. Okay. And to determine that whether a particular, you know, a particular event will be good or neutral or bad, you use dispositors, you use nakshatras, you use padas and Virga charts. Okay, so what are Virga charts? They are the 16 divisional charts. Now, since we are mainly, you know, since we are mainly dealing with a time period related to the first, fourth, fifth, eighth, and ninth houses, we'll just go through the, you know, just go through the D9 chart, okay, and the D4 chart as well. Why D4? Because, you know, D4 is the chart related to home. And if you want to, you know, if you want to fine tune your prediction further, you can also look at the D24 chart, which relates to education. Then the D30 chart, which is known as the Trim Samsha, it relates to diseases and misfortune. And finally, D9, it tells us, you know, the actual strength of planets in the D1. Okay. So it sounds a bit complicated, right? It's not that complicated, but then, you know, after you regularly see people's charts, patterns, and situations, everything will be sorted out for you. Okay. All right. So again, asking any doubts still here. Okay, it means we can proceed further. All right. So next, Sukshma Dashas and Prana Dashas. Okay, so these are again narrowed down versions of the time period. So, for example, say Jupiter is a 16-year-old period. Okay, then the Antardasha of Jupiter will be around 2.6 years. The Pratyanta Dasha will be around 6 to 8 months. The Sukshma Dasha will be around a week to 10 day long, and the, you know, Prana Dasha will be the date itself. Okay. So as a beginner, you don't have to understand how to read the Sukshma Dasha, how to read the Prana Dasha. Okay, you will be absolutely okay even if you don't understand these cycles. But as I said, as a beginner, you will need to understand another Dasha system. Okay, and before I mentioned this as well, we will be using the, you know, Chara Dasha system that was laid out by Dr. K. N. Rao. Okay, yeah. So just give me a couple of minutes. I'll just be back after this break. All right. So continuing further, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Varshfal. Okay. So Varshfal is a yearly chart that is created by looking at the position of the sun and the moon. Okay. So, when the sun and the moon are in the exact same distance, in the same sign, same degrees as they were when you were born, during that exact moment every year, you can create a chart. Okay. So this concept is known as Tithi Uday or Varshfal chart. Okay. So this Varshfal will show you what will be the focal point in your life. Okay. Will it be marriage, relationship, career, wealth, family, property, health, travel, etc. Okay. So the Varshfal can actually tell you a lot of things. Okay. Uh, the simple way to study this Varshfal chart is to see on which day the chart was made. Okay, whether it was a Monday or a Tuesday or a Saturday, whatever. Okay, so find out the lord of that day and see the placement of that lord in the chart. Okay, so the lord of the day is according to the names of the week and names of the days. Sunday is ruled by sun, Monday is ruled by moon, Tuesday is ruled by Mars, Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, Friday is ruled by Venus, and Saturday is ruled by Saturn. Okay, so now you'll need to see where the ascendant lord of this chart is sitting. It will show the focus point of the native. Okay, it will show you the focus point of the native. And finally, look at which house the Mahadasha planet is sitting in. So this will show you how the Mahadasha planet will manifest that particular year for the position it originally rules in the birth chart. Okay, so this is about the Varshfal chart, right? So now we go to the planetary meaning of the Mahadashas. Okay, so these are the rules. We are done with the rules. So any questions still here? Uh, Person acts like his Mahadasha Lord. Can we say the same thing for his Yogini Dasha too? No, 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 no. No. Yogini Dasha is read very differently. Thanu. Okay, I'll teach you if I get the opportunity. First, let us complete Chara Dasha and then we can go towards Yogini Dasha. Okay. So any doubts? Still the rules here? Okay. All right. So now, as I said, each planet will affect your mind, particularly during its Mahadashas. Okay, so we'll go through each of the Mahadashas individually and then see how the planets can affect your mind. Okay, so today we will be covering Sun, Moon, and Mars. Okay, so Sun Mahadasha, the period is for 6 years. All right. So when a person runs into a Sun Mahadasha, the changes will be felt within the personality, within the persona, and also within the soul. Of course, the soul cannot change. Okay. But the agenda of the mind may feel that the agenda has changed. The agenda of the soul has changed. Okay. Why? Because the sun rules all these things. It rules your personality. It rules your overall persona. Okay. It is the significator for the soul. So the basic point I'm trying to mention is the sun, it wants to put you in an authoritative position or come into contact with authoritative people, including government officials. Okay. So in this period, a few things related to the father, they may suddenly come to the forefront, including family lineages, right? So the sun is your confidence, it is your prestige and power. But then all this can also be reversed depending upon the sun's condition. Okay. For example, you know, if the sun is in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or Capricorn, then you can actually find yourself on the profitable side of this dasha. Okay, the main theme of the sun is the boost of ego and pride. Okay, you may actually feel very close to your homeland if you're living abroad. You may feel actually very close to your homeland. You may get opportunities to return to your birthplace. Okay, and then you know you will also feel connected to issues of social welfare, okay, and politics of the home country. Okay, suppose someone is living in the US and then all of a sudden you find yourself taking interest in the politics of your home country. For example, if you're an NRI living in the US, you might find yourself suddenly interested in the welfare and the political activities that are happening in India. Okay, So there is also a need to serve the public during this period. But then if Saturn is badly placed in the chart, then you can actually end up cheating people. Okay. So in Sun Mahadasha, or in every Mahadasha for that matter, look at the divisional chart while predicting about a certain area of life. Okay. So if you want to look, if you want to see whether the sun is really good, bad, or neutral for your career during the Mahadasha, then look at the D10 chart and see the sun's position there. Okay. If you know, in matters of children, look at the D7 chart. In matters of marriage and spiritual progress, look at D9 and D20. Okay. For example, if you are facing an issue of property, okay, then look at the D16 chart. If you are facing an issue of wealth, then look into the D2 chart. Okay. Then after that, come to the conclusion that if the sun is well placed in 70% of the charts and badly placed in 30% of the divisional charts, then you know the Mahadasha will be actually good. Okay, even if sun is debilitated in the Rashi chart. Okay, yeah, if it is debilitated in D10 but with the moon, so what will happen is you know career will become very, very unattractive. You will join a, you know, you will join a place which you thought would be very, very attractive, and then you will realize that, oh my god, I have, you know, I'm stuck in somewhere that I cannot escape. The quality will become very, very low. Okay. And I think this is happening to you as well. A lot of people join that profession thinking of the all the good things that come, but then they realize that the profession actually eats up their physical lifespan as well. Yeah. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so as I said, if the sun is debilitated in a Rashi chart, okay, but it is well placed in a divisional chart, then the Mahadasha will be quite good, right? So now let's say the sun is debilitated. Okay, let's say the sun is debilitated. So debilation means niche. Okay, the reaction will become very, very bad to certain things. The quality about doing certain things will become very, very bad. For example, if the sun is debilitated at 20 degrees in the ascendant, for example, it will give low confidence and, you know, a lot of self-doubt within you. Okay. But then suppose the same sun which is debilitated in the Rashi chart, it becomes exalted in the D9 chart. Then what will happen is, you know, after your marriage or after you enter into a relationship, those, you know, your confidence will be boosted. Okay. All of a sudden you will find a lot of clarity regarding things. All right. So what it means is that just you see everything. If you know, you see every area of life. For example, D20 will show you our spiritual progress during the sun Mahadasha. Okay, D3 will show you, you know, how far you are going to go, how far you are willing to go for your goals, for achieving your goals. For example, the sun is, suppose the sun is debilitated in D3, then if you have a goal, you will not feeling like moving towards that goal. You'll feel lazy, you'll feel, you know, you'll try to procrastinate, you will feel out of steam and so on. Okay. So as I said, now suppose the sun is exalted in you know, so the sun is exalted in D1 but debilitated in D9. In that case, what will happen is, you know, you may feel low about yourself during the 6th year period of the sun Mahadasha. Okay. But you know, if the sun is really, really badly placed, then the father or a father like authoritative figure can pass away. Okay, it could be even your boss. All right, don't always think that if the sun is bad, you know, your father will go. No, it could be your boss as well. Okay, so sometimes it can be good, especially if you have a very bad boss there. Okay, so and to see how the health of the father will be during the sun Mahadasha, then look at the position of the sun in the D12 chart. Okay, so if the sun is badly placed in D12, not only the health can suffer, your father may also be fired from work. Okay, so you know, as an individual, if the sun is, you know, if the sun is exalted in D10, okay, then as an individual you will be making a lot of progress in your career, in your life. All right, now what to do if the sun is doing well in certain divisional charts and not so well in certain other divisional charts? In that case, judge with regards to the particular area. For example, say the sun is very well placed in D10, then there would be a good boost in career. But then, you know, if the sun is badly placed in D9, then what it means that even if you know, get a boost in your career, you will waste away the boost that you got. Okay, for example, say you got a raise of say 10,000 rupees in the first month of your, you know, after your sun Mahadasha, because it is really, really placed well in the in the D10 chart, and then suppose the sun is debilitated in a D9 chart, then that rays will not, will not stick to you. Somehow something will happen that your workplace will find a way to tell you that, hey, we are not, we are not giving you a raise anymore. You have not been performing to our expectations. Okay, that is how you will look at it. All right. So next we come to moon. We'll be stopping at moon. We'll not go into Mars today, okay? Because I'm really tired here. So moon is all about emotions and your emotional health, okay? Because good emotions mean good health. All right. This is a trick to see. If the moon is destroyed, then your emotions will be the quality of your emotions will be really bad, and then your health will go down. Okay. So just see if anyone has bad health. If anyone comes to you for health problems, you'll see that they have very bad or very low quality emotions. Okay. So it runs for 10 years, and during this period one can become more sensitive, receptive, emotional, and closer to home, depending on where the moon is placed. Okay. So this dasha also becomes important for issues or things related to mother or motherland. All right. So even for a man this is true. All right. It's not that only a female will want to become a mother during this period. A man also may want to become a father. Okay. So during this period there is an urge to create a family. Okay. And no matter what you do in your career, you'd be more involved in the domestic affairs rather than affairs at the office or foreign affairs. Okay. So people, if you're a student who is studying in a foreign land and you are going through the time period of moon, you may tend to become closer to home or your homeland, and may even become homesick. Okay. So every time I have gone through my antardashas of moon, I've not gone through the mahadasha of moon. So what it did is it made me feel very homesick. Okay. Since a child I was very homesick, but every time I used to have the antardashas of the moon, I actually became very homesick. Okay. I could feel very disconnect. I could feel I would miss my mother very strongly. I'd want to not to go to school or college and stay at home all night long, all day long, and so on. Okay. So a moon dasha is a time, as I said, when a man or a woman, they would want to create a family, a home, and serve the mother. Okay. So moon being the karaka of the fourth house, so there could be you could actually be ending up buying a new car just for your emotional fulfillment. Okay, because the fourth house is the house of vehicles, so just to fulfill your emotional needs, you may end up buying a new car and things like that. Okay. All right, then. So we stop here today. We'll go into Mars Mahadasha from from the next class. And there is an announcement to make. We'll not have a class on the 2nd of October because of Durga Puja. So the next class will happen on the 9th of October. Okay. So any questions till this point, till this part? We've dealt with quite a few heavy topics today. Okay. So do watch the recordings later on if you find it difficult. All right, then I don't think we have questions. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining in. So Mahalaya has started. That means Durga Puja has also started. So wishing you all a very warm and prosperous Durga Puja. May the mother fulfill all your divine wishes, and may she bless you with the truth. Okay. Not many of us like to hear the truth, but maybe may the mother bless you with the truth. And should you have any questions, you can always reach out in the group. Okay, the Jyotish group has been made admin only because a few lump and elements were creating problems. So that will remain as an admin only group. Okay, I'm looking to make a couple of you as admins. And yeah, that's it from me. May you all receive the divine grace of the mother in the upcoming days. Namaste, everyone. Om Gurave Namaha.